So Tara, over to you, and I'll mute myself.
Thanks, Stephanie. My name is Tara Knierim. I am on the board of Waste Free Advocates, and that is the group that started Oregon Reduces. We are a statewide organization, a statewide nonprofit. Waste Free Advocates is, and we're centered in Portland, but we aspire to be as statewide as possible. And so I came to UYO and talked to Anne Marie about the potential of making an Oregon Reduces group instead of just a Portland Reduces or Portland Metro Reduces. That none of that seemed quite right. So we really wanted to do an Oregon Reduces group, and they were like, "Give it a shot." So that's what we've been doing for about the last year. We've been working on Oregon Reduces, and because we are statewide, we have 6 trainings a year, 3 times a year. We do an in-person training. And around the same time that we do an in-person training, we also do a online training. And so I'm going to show you our online training, just so maybe you can get some ideas. It's definitely a work in progress. And we have been refining it pretty much from day one. We didn't have this PowerPoint when we started, and we knew right away that we needed something to like anchor the Zoom meeting and really get people understanding what we were talking about, because just chatting about it wasn't enough. So this is I'm just going to go through very quickly, but our Oregon Reduces volunteer training. We start by talking a little bit about what Oregon Reduces is, and we talk about the overarching US Reduces BYO campaign. Then we discovered that people really like to know who regulates these things, like what are the laws? And so we talk a little bit about who oversees different businesses. So we start with the Oregon Department of Agriculture, and then we go on to talk about the Oregon Health Authority a bit. And then we talk about what the law says and what the regulations say. And then we follow that with tips for approaching the businesses. So we have a number of board members and volunteers and employees who have gone out to businesses to promote Oregon Reduces. And so we just do a bit of a roundtable about tips and tricks. Everybody has their own way of doing it, but hopefully giving the participants at the training some ideas. We developed a checklist so that they can take this to the business and they know what they should be doing. We developed a Google form to keep track of everyone that they talk to. So we ask volunteers to fill this out for every business they go to, whether or not the business says yes or no to displaying the sticker. And this, again, has been very much a work in progress and has changed over time. Here you can see on the left hand, did your business agree to display the sticker? At first we said yes, no, like it should be that easy, right? Except that, you know, maybe they went and the decision maker wasn't there, or the decision maker needed to think it over. And so we added more options that we can track. And then that Google sheet populates into this spreadsheet. And so we have it where it can be color coded in order to know who needs follow-up, who said yes, and the sticker is displayed. Then we leave time for questions. And we recently added a Slack channel, a Slack group for our Oregon Reduces, which has been really, really great place for people to discuss what's worked, didn't, ask questions, that type of thing. So, and then obviously our contact. Once people have taken the training, we mail them out a packet. The packet includes the stickers, and then it includes this business flyer that we made. So they get 15, I believe, business flyers and 10 stickers. We always mail them more business flyers than stickers, because if they stop by, and the decision maker isn't there, they can leave a flyer with their phone number, their email address, whatever, and then the person can get back to them. So that is what we've been doing. So with that, yeah, I mean, it's been working pretty well. We have 17 establishments. It did ramp up slowly. We've gotten 17 establishments and we've trained 17 people. So, and we've done 2 sets of training so far, 2 in person, 2 online. So, yeah.
Thank you, Tara. That is amazing. I'm just thinking out loud. Yeah, I know we've got great resources on the US Reduces site. I just wonder if we can also add a link to your presentation and resources, because yours seem like an improvement on mine, that's for sure. And just for those of you who haven't started a group, you don't need to do a PowerPoint in order to get a group going. I don't have a PowerPoint, by the way, and you don't need to have forms, but some of these things, if you get going, really help. And it sounds like you've made the decision, Tara, that, you know, if you're going to do this statewide, you have to manage it somehow. And this sounds like a great solution. I mean, I think it would be a great solution, even if it wasn't statewide. So kudos to you. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Any other questions people have for Tara?
Yes, I do. The form that you showed, it seems really super helpful. Do you have it on somewhere on your Waste-Free Advocates website? Like,
Oh, that's a good question. We have put some of our stuff, and I can drop our Oregon Reduces URL in the chat. We have a lot of this on our website. I will find it and drop it in there.
Well, let's coordinate, because there may be some, I know there is stuff in what you just presented that might be helpful to other folks starting a program.
Yeah, and we're happy to share. We use Canva a lot, obviously, so, but happy to share where people can, you know, use what we've already done. Because we used, I know somebody presented and we used their sticker template, and that was super helpful. So yeah, absolutely happy to share.
Sticker, yeah.
So you have the state health department covering all the counties to be allowed to do this.
Yeah, and we've
That would
had
be really good in New York.
yeah, and we've had recent legislation that required the Oregon Health Authority to change their rules and allow people to bring their own containers for takeout. This has created a lot of questions with our volunteers, and it's something we're trying to dig into to get guidance to the restaurants if people are like, I want to do this, but I don't know how. But yeah, it's I think in the long run going to be very helpful. At this point, it's still a little murky.
So Tara, I'm curious about how you got the health department, the state and health department, to allow BYO.
So we have a senator in Oregon, Senator Solomon, who is a real proponent of anything that reduces waste. She's amazing. And so she proposed a bill last session, I believe, that directed OHA to rewrite their regulations, and that's how it got done. The Oregon Department of Agriculture had pressure put on them, and they actually rewrote their regulations first, and they didn't require a bill. So yeah, we've done it both ways, putting pressure on the department to rewrite their regulations, and then we had a senator who championed a bill that required OHA to rewrite their regulations.
Can I just ask a question? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Scott.
No, I was just wondering, when you approach a business to propose to them participation in the BYO program, what is the general, is there a menu of different choices that they could participate in as far as the scope of what the BYO would include? Could it just include like coffee or drinks? Would it necessarily include every kind of food, or how do you approach them with that?
No, we're willing to take anybody who wants to encourage bringing your own. So if it's a coffee shop that, will take reusable coffee cups, but they don't do, like, maybe they have food, but they're not into using reusables for those, like, we'd still take them. We're open to anybody. We have a pizza shop. I'm not exactly sure how they encourage BYO, but they want to encourage it, so we gave them a sticker. We don't have a high bar for entrance. We just want to make it more visible in Oregon. So
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jill. Sorry. And then Kirsty has a question. Jill, do you want to go next?
Just wanted to follow up, and you said you put pressure on the state ag department. Who put the pressure, and what kind of pressure did you put on them?
that's a good question. I wasn't as involved as I would have liked to have been. Surfrider got very involved in it and putting pressure on them to change their regulations. And there was a whole contingent, and I'm not exactly sure how they did it. But it ended up with a working group that informed Department of Agriculture and helped guide the regulations.
Go
So
ahead.
I want to be clear. Like, so in Oregon, currently, you're allowed to BYO for beverages, dry goods from dispensers, and pack out leftovers. Can you take out food in the BYO at restaurants and also at grocery delis? Is that?
Yes, you can.
Oh, wow.
You can, but they're not required to do it. So yeah,
They're allowed.
Okay.
they're
Yes.
allowed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oregon is on the map. Yes. Okay, great. Thank
Kirsty,
you.
go ahead.
I kind of had a related question. Yeah, are on the same wavelength. Do you feel like the regs that you ended up with, Tara, are where they should be? Or like, if you had your druthers, if you had your choice, would you want them this way, or is there still another version that you like better?
I think the thing that got left out that I wish had been in there, like they exclude ready to eat foods as far as bulk bins and stuff. Obviously at restaurants, ready to eat, that's a great question. And I don't know, I don't know that I have a great answer, but yeah.
No,
there are some, yeah.
Because
There
it's
are
one of
some
those
things-
things we're trying to always make them better. So
Right.
we should talk at some point, and I'd love to hear. We can
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I think the main thing is for grocery stores, ready to eat foods are not necessarily included in the bulk bins. So like, I think there's still some ambiguity around, like, nuts that aren't in the shell and things that aren't fruit that get washed, I think there's some ambiguity there, like whether or not it would actually stop grocery stores from doing it, like letting you put your bread in your own bag. I don't know. But yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I'll definitely follow up.
Interesting. Oh,
Thank
there are
you.
many of us on this call that are jealous of the regulations you do have, believe me. I just want to make a point that may be obvious and not. If you haven't started a group yet, then the geography you pick for your sticker is a point. It's something to think about. And I know I was really struggling with the group that I formed for DC Reduces. Is it DC? Is it a neighborhood in DC? You picked a state, which is incredible. There's that balancing act between, do you lose some of the community feel of it when you go too big? But then if you go too small, you've got a universe of businesses that is maybe just too restrictive. I mean, it's too small a universe. So I just want to point out, if it's not obvious, that that's something to be grappled with as you're forming a group, is what's the right geographic target. Okay, as you can tell, Tara, we could go on and on asking you questions. All of us probably could. I want to make sure that we move on, but I think we need to come back to you at some point, Tara, to talk to us more, because there's a lot of stuff there that is really relevant to a lot of other folks. Thank you for sharing that. Okay.